Hello, welcome to Book Reports. Every third Monday of the month, I want to talk about the book I was reading this month. And since it's October and October is horror month, I thought I'd go ahead and pick up another classic horror book like I did last year with Dracula. Picked up Frankenstein for this month. Before I get into talking about the story, I want to apologize. I didn't really have a chance to organize my notes very well because the book's already overdue. Yeah, so this video might get rambly and point to point, get distracted. But I gotta say, this is probably gonna sound weird, but I love the way this book smells. I'm kind of probably doing this a lot during the review. I just want to say, support your local library. They have a lot of good smelling books. And with the story being over 200 years old, I thought it would be hard to get into it, but it reads okay. I could follow pretty well. There is a section in the appendix, I guess you can call it. One of the appendices is a list of explanatory notes. Sometimes it'll mention a place and it'll say in here where that place is, or I'll have a reference to another book and it'll say, hey, that's where that's talking about. So that was appreciated. But it is kind of hard to get into this book, not because of the older language. I could handle that pretty well. The problem was how often it gets sunk into its own details about the story. It'll go into pages and pages just describing a location. Hell, I'm sure there's whole chapters just talking about the location it's set in. Yeah, except for when it's distracting from the actual story. Hell, Victor isn't even mentioned until 30 pages into the damn book. Starts off with some guy going to the North Pole to figure out how his compass works. But although there are points where the story just drags and drags and drags on, I do gotta say I love some parts in this book. Although loneliness does seem to be a running theme through the book. I gotta say, Victor is a complete ass to his creation. He's like a deadbeat dad for over half of the book, running away from his creation. And I don't know if this makes any sense, or I'm just out of practice of reading, but all of the book sounds like the same voice. I think that's the right term, but it gets confusing on who exactly is talking at the moment. And that can lead to a problem because it's at times it's a story within a story within a story within a story, etc. There's one point in the story where it's an Arabian lady talking about what happened to her father, relating to she's telling a French family who's being overheard by the monster. The monster is telling Victor. Victor is telling the sea captain, and the sea captain is writing a letter to his sister. It's like, right? Who's going what? Who's talking to who right now? And the greatest part of this book is about in the middle, where the monster is gaining his sentience. Since the night where Victor made the monster, Victor just kind of hauled off and left the monster to his own devices. So it was up to him to discover his own education. And since apparently he was quite fugly when Victor built him, so every time he tried to approach some humans to try to get any kind of companionship or figure out what's going on, they just ran away from him. Every time he approached someone, they just hauled it away from him because it was that just horrific looking. And he was on his own until he discovered a small French family on a farm, and he hung out on the farm, overhearing and listening to the French people as he slowly learned how humanity works, and he slowly learned how to read and how to talk. I have to say, the dude found some pretty good reading wandering around the wilderness of Europe. He found Paradise Lost, Plutarch, and some other philosophers, and I'm pretty sure by the end of the book, the monster is more educated than I am. I do gotta feel sorry for the monster though, because after he learned how to talk and how to act to people, after he did that, he tried to contact the family he was been living with for so long, and when they saw him, they just flipped out on him and ran away, and they all moved away. And after that, he helped a girl that was drowning in a river, helped the little girl out of the river, and got shot by the person the lady girl was with. So it's like, he's trying to be a good guy. It's just humanity's just shitting on him every chance they can get. So when he catches up to Victor, he asks Victor to have him create a wife for him, because every time he bothered humans, it was because he was lonely and tried to have some kind of companionship. So he reasoned with Victor that if he could have a wife, he would just leave all humanity alone. He'll move off to South America and be done with humanity forever. And at first Victor does agree to this, but then spends about a third of the book just kind of moping around, so sad. I just wanted to go up to him and slap him because he's just so sad. He goes to England and it's so beautiful, but he's so sad. It's like, I just wanted to beat the bastard.
It would be hard to be all that cheerful when a monster that you created threatens to kill everyone you love, unless you make another monster.
Maybe, but dude, you're in a book. Please continue on with the book. It just dragged on for so long. I'm sure it was only like 3 or 4 chapters he did this, but reading through it, just, come on, dude. If you're gonna do something, do it. If you're not, just fuck off already. He kept lapsing into madness and spent months in a hospital, or not really hospital, but in a bed, just kind of regaining his consciousness. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, he kept drifting off into madness. So I'm not trying to be too down on him, because mental health is a concern that I would like to have people act with more care for, but it really seemed more of an excuse to prolong the book than anything. It was just, he's drifted off into madness. I guess he can't do anything right now. Oh, he recovered from his madness. Oh, nope, now he's down again. It's like, come on, dude. Another thing I gotta say is the Genevan justice system does not fuck around. The monster ended up killing his Victor's younger brother and framed his cousin, I think. Victor's family's messed up, but his cousin was accused of murder, and then it seems like the next day he was killed for it. It's like, wow. Victor did think of stepping up and saying something, but he didn't think his story would be believed. And Victor does seem to stand around a lot when the monster is doing evil around him. Seriously, it comes to one point where the monster is strangling his wife, and Victor just kind of stands there and then faints.
He's a pre-med chemistry student, not Rambo. What would you expect him to do? Whip out some kung fu?
Well, he said he was carrying around a pistol and a couple daggers, and he was expecting trouble, so when trouble arrived, he just kind of... after the death of his wife, Victor swore to pursue the monster to the ends of the earth, and this monster heard his swear and agreed to it. He just sent him on a merry chase across the wastes of the north, and that's where he met up with the sea captain at the beginning of the book. So there is a satisfying circular nature to the book. I do say it is an amazing read. I love it when it's showing the how the monster is gaining his sentience and understanding what it is to be human. it just, and for horror month, it's not scary. It's not feeling scary like the Dracula was when last year. That was just, I didn't feel scared by that one because it's kind of like that one was more, how do I explain this? The last year when I read Dracula, it was more matter of fact kind of stuff. It wasn't like, I didn't really feel scared for the people. And there is evil going on in this book, but I don't feel afraid by it. I feel saddened by it. Like Victor Frankenstein, his dream was to be able to create life, and that life ended up scaring him away. And that poor monster who had achieved life was on his own, and every time he tried to connect with anybody, they shunned him. They drove him off, and it's really kind of sad. I feel really bad for that monster. I really do. I kind of want to give him a hug or something, but it does have a good touch with humanity. So it's I'm sure a philosophy student would just go head over heels over reading this book. It's an amazing read. And if you're into philosophy or humanology or whatever study of any human characteristics, read this book. If you haven't read this book, what are you doing with your life? But it's not scary. It's sad. It's tragedy. The tragedy of Frankenstein, that should be called. It is kind of funny. The subtitle for the book is Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus. Modern being 1812. So it's like modern 200 years ago. The Modern Prometheus. That's kind of funny. My notes have ended a little bit ago. I'm sure you've noticed. But yeah, I would love to add this to my personal collection. It's from the library. I gotta get it returned to the library. It was due like 3 or 4 days ago. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up here. And thanks for watching. Yeah, every third Monday of the month, I want to do a book report. I haven't been very good at getting that done, but here's for hoping, right? So thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Have a good day.